Hello, my name is Arnab, and these are the top 10 things I have learned over the course of this poetry unit. Since it was Valentine's Day recently, I wanted to do the first one about love, true sonnets. Sonnets are 14-line poems meant to praise someone, and these poems use iambic pentameters. I will explain what iambic pentameters are a little later in detail. With the help of a slide I made, this slide, sonnets are usually made to praise the one you love, or just to generally um, praise someone you admire. I'll read out a sonnet which I have made, but mine does not have 14 lines. Thou art my blossoming cherry tree, always the blooming beauty filled with chipper. May the sweets come on this day, lovely mommy. I know the sweets will be yummy, mommy. Allure is what thou art filled with flowers, unlike others thou do not wilt away. Shall you not stay the same others as their mummies, as they won't remain all that nice? When you stand with others, they look like trolls. This makes me want to kick them like a dog. Next, let's talk about syllabic verses. Syllabic verses are poems with a fixed uh, number of syllables on each line. There are many different kinds of syllabic verses. They include haikus, tankas, and cinquain. Syllabic verses are my favorite to me. Uh, one of the most enjoyable are all different types of poems. I think it is easy to read, sounds nice, and at times very short. Now on to the next slide where I'll be talking about haikus. As I mentioned earlier, haikus are a type of syllabic verse. Oh, yeah, because over here I show that this is a syllabic verse. Yeah. As I mentioned earlier, haikus are a type of syllabic verse. The reason I made a separate slide just for haiku is because gives life meaning and are very fun to make. In fact, haiku was created in Japan as a means of appreciating nature. Haiku is a syllabic verse in which the first five syllables, the second uh, has five, and the second seven syllables, and the third, the last, has five. Haiku is always about nature and is written in appreciation of the nature around you. Then, the next night, I'll be dealing with tankas. Tanka is a syllabic verse which is very similar to haiku. However, the difference is that the syllables in each line are different to haiku. Tanka syllables in each line for the pattern 57577. In addition, tanka is a descriptive tool that is used to give the audience sensory experience of the poem. I will now read out my tanka. Death, pain, sorrow, fallen buildings with bombshells. Why did this happen? Gunshots, screams all over my house. Don't they care about the screams, pain, sorrow? Another thing I have learned is figurative language. There are three different types of figurative language. There are metaphors, similes, and personification. And these are further divided into extended metaphors, spinning similes, and pairing personifications. A metaphor is a word or could be a phrase that makes a comparison between two things, animals, people, or places. Example, life is an ocean. A personification is when an object is given human or animal characteristics. Example, nails hanging from the cave. Last but not least are similes. Similes are comparisons between two things. Example, drool spilled out like a fountain. The other ones are just an extended version of their counterparts. Now on to the next slide, wherein we will be talking about anchor metaphors. Anchor metaphors are metaphors that are made into an entire poems. I will now read out my anchor metaphor. However, I will read only a portion of it because the original was very long. Life is an ocean. Some days it's calm, a light breeze hanging over, the grains of time, a path for you to walk on. Sometimes the ocean is rough, the voice is slamming into the sands. Cuts and bruises will cover all over the body. The salt sting all over the cuts and scrapes. As you follow the footsteps marked on the sand by ye parents. I hope you like mine, but anyway. Next is enjambment. Enjambment is where the lines of stanza continues onto the next line. People often do this to make the poem go faster. I will now read out an example of enjambment to you. Faster, faster, faster. We won't be last. Faster, the light is going everywhere. Faster, faster. I'm glowing wine. Want to ask for a fight? Then go faster. Now we move to poetry feat. Do you remember when I mentioned iambic pentameter? Well, you should. Iambic pentameter is where a person alternates between unstressed and stressed syllables 5 times. Now, in poetry feat, there are other types of iambic pentameters. This includes trochaic diameter, trochaic trimeter, and throughout these ones, and perceptic, and basically all of the different types of poetry feet can go into a different number of feet per line. Like they can also be an iambic monometer. Whoopsies, sorry. Or antiseptic and anapestic trimeter. That would mean 2 unstressed syllables with 1 stressed syllable, repeating that for 3 times. Or if it was an anapestic diameter, 2 times, or 1 time, of 6 times, 5 times, and 4 times. And this would go on same with the other ones, which so on Pandic is all syllables are equal, and which can be used as a monometer. That means this happens once or twice. And with diactic, this also could happen. The diactic, it's 1 stressed syllable and 2 unstressed, and that could happen a number of feet per time, like once or twice or 3 times. See, in iambic pentameter, that means 1 stressed and 1 unstressed and 1 stressed repeated 5 times. Now you look through the chart and see the different variations you can put together with these different types of monometers, or like number of feet per line, or types of poetic feet. Now I will talk about compound complex and simple compound complex sentences. Um, Compound sentences is where 2 parts of the sentence can stand alone as 2 different sentences. Each half of a compound sentence is connected by a comma and founder. Complex sentences are where a beginning of the sentence is started with an awubis word, and then one half of the sentence is a dependent clause while the other is independent clause. Simple sentence is where there's only one independent clause. Now, with compound complex sentences, it starts with an awubis, and then two parts of the poem will be one independent and one dependent, and there'll be 2 other halves will be dependent and independent clauses. Now, here are some examples. This is a simple sentence. The toilet was green. Sorry, it needs to be a capital there, but yes. And this is a compound. This caused me to shiver in disgust and caused me to throw up. Complex sentence. When I threw up, blood came out. Compound complex. When I threw up, the noise echoed in the bathroom and my ears ringed. Now I'm going to be reading out my best free verse which I have made. A free verse is a poem which has no, which basically is a, doesn't have any poetry types of feet or number of lines in each feet and don't follow, and don't follow any specific rules. The shedding tears, the rain of blood, the concrete walls, now concrete dust. It's not a must. War should not be a lust. War should be replaced with trust. Why not help the countries that are broken because of war? Those countries filled with lakes of blood and mountains of bodies. Those where toys don't exist but only bullets. Why not help those who don't feel happiness but only pain? Why not lend a hand and not guns? Don't fight with bullets and bazookas. Don't fight with swords and daggers. Swords aren't the only thing to fight with. Why not just use words? Why not use words instead? Why not ask instead of fighting and starting wars? Why build weapons of mass destruction when the only thing you'll destroy is yourself? The blood is raining down. All the bodies falling down. The fighting all around us. The metallic sound right now. Why not stop the blood of wars? Here's my author's note, which is telling you about my poem. My poem is about the violence of war and how we should not resort to violence and instead adopt peaceful ways. War is gruesome and there is immense loss to life. If we don't adopt peaceful ways to resolve conflict, we will bring destruction and death upon ourselves. I show this throughout the poem, especially in the third stanza. Why bring weapons of mass destruction when the only thing you'll destroy is yourself? In this line, I'm clearly asking the audience that weapons of destruction will only destroy ourselves, so what is the point? I ask this question so that the audience questions themselves and their leaders who build these weapons. Another part of the poem is when I prove my statement on line 3. Swords aren't the only thing to fight with. Why not just use words? Why not use words instead? Why not just ask instead of fighting and starting wars? I'm proving my statement by asking another alternative for war, which is just part of my statement I said at the beginning. Instead of war, we just use negotiations to carry out one's actions peacefully. I proved my point on how gruesome war is in the last stanza by using a tanka, which is a syllabic verse, as you may remember. I use the tanka because tanka makes the audience experience what I'm trying to convey. I wanted the audience to feel what war is like and the horrors that live in it. Overall, I made this poem to question our leaders and change our mindset from violence to non-violence. And in this poem, I've used many different types of techniques, as using the technique to repeat words with ing. And I also used metaphors and personifications throughout the poem. Thank you for thanks for listening to what I have to say. For my throughout my top 10 which I have made, and I hope you all liked it. Goodbye.